Have you ever heard of Heston Airlines? That's not the airline I expected to fly on when I booked today's trip from Azerbaijan to Uzbekistan. Let me tell you what happened. Greetings from Baku, where I spent a few days before continuing my Central Asia trip. But no worries, this isn't a city travel vlog, and I'll be back at the airport very shortly for the promised flight review. Welcome to Baku, Heydar Aliyev International Airport, which seems to be rated 5 stars by some infamous aviation consulting and rating agency. Baku has a standalone international and domestic terminal. While the domestic one looks quite interesting from the outside, especially at night, it is pretty boring inside, as I saw on a previous domestic flight. Let's hope the international terminal is a bit nicer, a bit more 5-starry. The check-in area certainly looks impressive with all the round shapes, and I quickly found my check-in row. I booked my flight with Azerbaijan Airlines, or in short AZAL, and originally I was hoping to actually fly AZAL, but this turned out not to be the case, as you probably already figured, that my flight will be operated by Heston Airlines instead. Check-in is done, so let's go upstairs where the security check and immigration is happening, and where we have a better view of this beautiful terminal design. I'm airside now, and look at these cocoons, how interesting. And from up here I have a nice overview of the check-in area, which is pretty neat in case I want to wave goodbye for a last time to my loved ones, friends or my taxi driver. On the other side I find large windows, giving me a great view of this beautiful Azerbaijan Airlines Boeing 767. This here is the central hall of the terminal, where I find the priority pass lounge downstairs. It's a rather small lounge, but with a great view. Look at this. Night has fallen, and my late evening departure to Tashkent is approaching. This Azerbaijan Airlines flight is operated by Heston Airlines, and I have read that the seat pitch there is quite terrible, so I asked the gate agent over there if there is a seat available with maybe more legroom, and he checked and he said there is a few seats left. However, I would need to pay if I want to change, and I have to inquire in the aircraft. It looks like Azerbaijan Airlines is one of the airlines who charges you even on the aircraft if you want to change the seat, and no matter how tall you are. But soon is boarding, and we will see how bad the seat pitch really is. I hope not too bad. Boarding was a complete mess, and only some of the announcements were made in English, and I ended up being pulled aside while they were checking my documents till I was one of the last to be able to board. What a shit show that was. Also the long waiting time in the jet bridge. I thought this trip is going to be a nightmare, but sometimes fate has a surprise in store for me, and things turn around to the positive once I was on board the aircraft. You will see what I mean shortly. These are the fluffy business class seats which I hoped to fly on, but they were a bit too pricey. However, I'm surprised to see that Heston Airlines, as a European ACMI provider, even has such a business class, and not the usual European-style business class with economy class seats like these. I found my seat and wow, look at this legroom! My mood went up immediately by 50%. This is the aircraft I'm sitting on, all white with Azerbaijan titles, but a Lithuanian registration, the country of origin of Heston Airlines. And I read that Heston Airlines installed these business class seats because of Azerbaijan Airlines requesting these to be in line with the rest of the fleet's cabin configuration. Nice. In front of me I find this good old-fashioned seat pocket net. Overhead I find individual air fans and the usual reading lights. Welcome aboard Heston Airlines. But the air sickness bag is AZAL branded, and the flight number, by the way, is also under Azerbaijan Airlines. So Heston really is just the ACMI provider. Let's have a look at the safety card, as any good passenger does, right? The flight seems pretty full, and I was lucky to have a friendly, even jolly, elderly man next to me, who didn't care about my filming activity at all. The legroom is so much better than what I read online, so I was already quite worried, but plenty of legroom, so no issue at all. Flight time to Tashkent today, roughly 2.5 hours. We are being pushed, and I see our neighboring aircraft is also Lithuanian, I guess also Heston Airlines, but I don't see any Azerbaijan titles on it, unlike our aircraft. I wonder if they still have the same nice seat configuration, or the scary one that I read about. We have reached the runway, and the darkness of the sky is awaiting us. By the way, have you subscribed to my channel yet? Maybe consider doing so and also leave a thumbs up. That way my channel might grow a little bit. Thank you. So I'm sitting right in front of the emergency exit row. That means I cannot use the seat recline. And there's also no seat recline knob on the armrest. No button on the left side and no button on the right side. A seat recline would potentially reduce the throughput of people through the emergency exit behind me in case of an evacuation. Maybe you also noticed the absence of an in-flight menu when I showed the seat pocket before. So either this means we get complimentary meal, or maybe there's no food at all on this 2.5 hour flight. I hope it's the first one. I can see a meal card, that looks promising. Heston, or better Azerbaijan Airlines, as they are the decision makers when it comes to in-flight catering, is indeed offering a complimentary meal in economy class. I certainly did not expect that. The flight is getting better and better. Look at this, it's even a hot meal that comes with a small salad, some puddingy dessert, a bread bun, and, in my case, some water. Let's have a look what's inside this hot plate. This looks like some chicken curry with rice. Lovely. But let's try it first, before praising it too much. Oh yes, this meal is definitely approved, and besides the salad, which unfortunately had cheese in it, and I, as a Swiss, don't eat cheese, I finished the entire dish, bun and dessert. Well, this full meal service was certainly a pleasant surprise. And before, while the crew was serving the meal, one of the cabin attendants dropped the coffee jar and spilled like over 2 or 3 people, but they handled the situation very well. They offered a lot of napkins and even some Azerbaijan Airlines blankets to cover or to dry the seats and whatever got wet. So I was quite lucky that it was like 1 row before me. And this is more or less what the seat recline looks like if I had a seat recline. Not sure if you can see it, but there were some lights on the ground, which means we have finished crossing the Caspian Sea and we made landfall in Uzbekistan. We are approaching midnight and tiredness caught up with me. Yeah, there really isn't much to see at the moment. Luckily, we are approaching Tashkent fast, and the seatbelt sign announces our imminent arrival in Uzbekistan. Welcome to Uzbekistan, where I will discover a bit the capital Tashkent, travel to Nukus and Muinak, a former seafront town of the Aral Sea, which now became a desert town. I have already made a video about Muinak and my trip with Uzbekistan Airlines. Check the link on the upper right corner if you like to see that too. This concludes my journey with Heston Airlines, or Azerbaijan Airlines depending how you see it, and I was truly positively surprised by the economy class experience, the friendly crew and especially the generous catering. Only the boarding process was quite let down. Thank you, bye. I hope you liked this short flight review. Thank you for watching. Till next time, bye for now.